E3.
Hey everybody, this is Neil Ronahan, and welcome to E3. I'm going to go around and introduce the panel. I'm Neil Ronahan from Nintendo World Report.
I'm Casey Gibson, also from Nintendo World Report.
I'm Justin Berube from Nintendo World Report.
And on the couch, I am Tony Wanshura. And I'm Alex Wanshura, and we are both representing Third Rate Minion.
Next up, Takahashi, Ishidara. I just had Takahashi's name written next to this. A mea culpa from last week, where Pokemon Company's president went and said that there is a core Pokemon game being worked on for the Nintendo Switch. It's in development now. It's going to be at least another year.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. I think the response for the Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun just coming out for the
3DS.
They announced it just for 3DS, the world just exploded. Everyone was like, why is it not coming out for the Switch? And I think this was that everyone, okay, wait, alright, we'll put something on the Switch. We gotta announce something.
I think it'll be better to get a ground-up Pokemon RPG on the Switch instead of, like,
This
the third
alternate story.
version where it's gonna look, you know, like a 3DS game. So I think we're gonna have to wait, but I think it's gonna be worth the wait.
Yeah.
I mean, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon kind of don't look like complete, like, ground-up new games anyways. So they probably are just gonna, like, make this for this year, and then with the actual game we're really working on, have it on Switch.
Had the heavy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One of my complaints with the Pokemon series in general is the gameplay isn't snappy enough. The menus and going from everything to everything, getting battles is too slow. So I'm hoping they can leverage the extra power of the Switch to speed some of that up.
Yeah, it's a slog sometimes going back to play some Pokemon games, especially when you get some of these RPGs, like Bravely Default. It's like you're in and out so quick of battles where it's...
Yeah, I've noticed that with Pokemon games, if you do go back, they are pretty bad, and they have been making improvements over time, so that's why I'm saying hopefully Switch really boosts it to another level where it's even faster.
That'd be really nice.
So the next thing was another a big surprise. Metroid Prime 4!
Yeah!
And that's all we know about it. I just said what we know. Actually, we do know a little more now. Apparently it's you know, I guess kind of it's the sequel to Metroid Prime Federation Force that we've all been waiting for.
Yep.
But like kind of following on all those threads, it'll follow up, I guess, on what is it, Silex?
Silex, yeah, the one hunter.
That was the spoiler alert.
From Prime 3, come on.
Yeah.
You've had a decade.
But Metroid Prime 4 is being developed by, it appears to be, it's a brand new development team internally at Nintendo. That's basically all we know about it. I would imagine that this is a Tanabe joint.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Metroid Prime produced Federation Force. We don't know much about it. We'll probably learn more about it maybe throughout E3. I'm sure there will be some stuff trickling out.
E3 2018.
Yeah, but I imagine that we're probably not going to be seeing anything with Metroid Prime 4 until, like, next year. Like, I think it's not going to be mentioned until E3 2018.
I bet it doesn't come out till 2019.
I think the absolute best bet is it's holiday 2018. More likely, I would put my money on 2019.
They probably don't want to show anything about that game because it's so far forward. I'm thinking that they probably started putting the team together once Federation Force was out the door, and they started looking at, well, where did we go wrong? Yeah. And they said, okay, let's
There was no Samus.
There's no Samus in it, but just you can play as her. But the idea is, like, maybe we should find out all the criticisms, and let's reorganize it, and then come out with a great product, and that's why it's so early, because it took them like a few months to get it planned out, and then finally getting us to the development process. The pre-development took a longer time than they probably expected.
It's happening, though.
It's happening. We're all happy.
I mean, I'm not like... It's hard to be crazy excited because they've been, like, as much as I like, and I really did like Federation Force, but
yeah, so did I.
I think that Nintendo has proven that they don't really know what the hell to do with Metroid for a decade. They have a lot to do to prove that they know how to make a Metroid game in that classic style. Whether it's a 2D Metroid, as we'll talk about later, or, you know, a 3D first-person Metroid. Because, like, so far to date, yeah, Prime 1 through 3 were both great. That was a decade ago.
Long time ago,
that, I don't think Retro Studios has anything to do with this game. And yeah, Tanabe did produce those games, but that was a decade ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that does worry me a bit, but I do have faith in the project at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm hopeful, and I can't wait to see more about it, but it's hard for me to get, like, over-the-moon, crazy excited for something that we've seen a logo for.
I was going to say, always a stylized
floor.
Is
like, I can't wait to see more. I'm just not ready to be like, Game of the Year 2019, let's go. Like, I gotta see more.
I'm just happy it's happening.
Yes.
Confirmation that it's happening.
I mean,
it was a good move on Nintendo's part, even if this game is 2 to 3 years away. You know, that might be contradictory to some of the complaints I lobby at Sony for, like, announcing stuff and it's 4 years away. But
if they do it with one game,
yeah,
I feel like
I like Metroid Prime 4 is the kind of thing like, hey guys, we're doing it. Like, back off.
Stop arguing with us.
The next game is one that I don't think anyone was really craving for a new one, but it's still pretty cool. Yoshi for Nintendo Switch, another 2018 game. It looks like I would assume, and I feel very comfortable in this assumption, that Goodfeel is making this game.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Yoshi's Woolly World, but now it's got some more depth to it, where there's kind of some fun 3D space.
What if Retro made this game?
If Retro made Yoshi's Woolly World,
because I just realized we haven't seen anything from Retro, and this is more out of the range of what they would do because there's more 2D. This has 3D elements.
Oh my god, I want this to happen.
I think you guys are nuts.
Yeah.
I feel like we might be able to easily disprove this by checking a fact sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's
talk about the game. Let's talk about what we know.
If it was
this
a retro
Yoshi's Woolly
game,
World 2, it looks like there's some stuff where like you're going on switches to kind of flip the world.
A lot of paper craft is a big thing they're going here.
Yeah, they said there's going to be the normal route, and then the flip side, there's going to be, places to
where
explore
you're
on every level.
Switches.
Yeah.
Looks cool. Once again, 2018. I'm curious to know if there will be a demo of that, and also that Kirby game on the show floor. They seem like things that would demo pretty well, and I'd be curious
You
to
can
see.
pop one level and that kind of thing.
That definitely feels like a first quarter game if they like a March game if they don't have anything planned for it. Also, I think a good name for it would be Yoshi Flipping Off.
Yoshi Switch Off. Next up, Fire Emblem Warriors, coming out fall 2017. It got a mid-September release date in Japan, but we haven't heard anything specific about North America or Europe.
Probably October.
Who knows? I mean, we'll get later. I can see September or October for Fire Emblem Warriors. It's a Warriors game with Fire Emblem characters. They showed off Amiibo in the Treehouse Live segment.
Those Amiibo look good.
I don't have too much to say about this game, honestly. Do any of you?
I think the biggest concern is that Zelda Hyrule Warriors was so significant. It was a big seller for Tecmo Koei. They were like really off the wall about it. But I think there might be there's a concern that Fire Emblem is big, but I think Nintendo wants to make it bigger, and that's why they're trying to do these spin-off games like Heroes and Echoes and whatnot. I'm not sure if Fire Emblem Warriors is going to be a game that's going to really make Fire Emblem really stand out because it's not going to make Hyrule Warriors now.
Yeah, that's...
It might do better than we think. Like, I think Fire Emblem has really broken through and is a consistent seller.
I think they'll be happy with it, but I don't think it's going to be gangbusters,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they're gauging, hopefully, with Fire Emblem Heroes, to see if maybe the characters can stand on their own outside of the main games, as it were.
Well, can you marry your characters in this new game? Because I think that may
What if
get a lot of people to jump on.
Future babies on the battlefield!
Oh
Mixing between different Fire Emblem games.
Oh, yeah.
No limits here, guys.
Imagination runs wild.
Next up, a Nintendo-published game called Skyrim. I've never heard of this one before. Nintendo. We found out.
Are you saying Skyward Sword?
No.
Skyward Sword, right?
Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
You can have a Master Sword in Skyrim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Skyward Sword.
But yeah, so Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. We found out about this a little bit. I mean, the same stuff that we found out about at the Bethesda press conference, but we did get confirmation today that it's being published by Nintendo. It's listed for holiday, according to Nintendo. I would kind of say this might be like an early November release, is my prediction. Who knows, though? We'll see. I'm pretty stoked for this.
It has motion controls, too.
Yeah, and Amiibo support for Zelda stuff.
The motion controls I'm concerned about, because I'm wondering if they're going to try and force that on you as like the actual way to play it.
I can feel like that'd just be an option, Just
you never know.
To give it that Nintendo feel to it, a little spin, but I feel like it'd probably be something that you could toggle off relatively easily.
Yeah, I wonder if Nintendo, because Nintendo's publishing, I wonder if they're going to have more quality of life improvements in the game.
I saw someone say the QA team is going to be like,
Bethesda's
got like 4 people on the QA,
Next up, we got DLC packs for Zelda. We found out that the first one will be out on June 30th. The second one will be called the Champions Ballad. It looks like you might be able to play as the champions or do something with them.
They didn't
Who
show
knows?
anything for
We
it.
don't really know much about it, but there will be 4 amiibo for the champions, and that's going to be coming out later this year.
Zelda amiibo.
I was hoping they'd go a little bit more on what it might be
Yeah.
for the story mode, but
There's time
it was
for that.
pretty
still.
much just alluding what it could be, which is a little disappointing, but
just sell them an amiibo.
yeah.
So that's exactly why they announced that.
Yeah, they can go more in depth later this year and be like, here's the amiibo, and here's what they do in this final DLC path to really hype it all up together as a complete package.
I get to play as Goron. Look great. Rolling around like
It seems like a
the
lot-
sound.
The amiibo, I mean, all the amiibo now I feel like they release generally look really nice compared to the early Smash ones, but
No butter stick.
yeah, well,
Well, we got some
although
of that.
for what's the
Urbosa?
Yeah.
she had one going up there,
Yeah, she had a...
a thick one too.
Yeah, well, I think all of them kind of had weird poles, but hers was the most
Most obvious.
inappropriate. But yeah, I mean, those amiibo look cool. I'll get them. They look well designed. I like those characters a whole lot.
And this is the first time this was the first set of amiibo that we actually got unveiled to us, right? For the at this spotlight.
Yeah.
And it's been nothing but I've been getting lots of amiibo, more than I thought. Actually, I thought there was only like a handful. We're getting quite a bit, but I get ahead of myself.
So then we saw Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle a little bit. I don't know if we have too much. If you could look to other videos, we talked about this game a lot. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
Looks
solid.
great.
Out
Very
in
solid.
August.
Looks way better than I thought.
Then we went back to Rocket League a little bit, and we covered that already. And then
Cross
we got,
network though.
Yeah,
That's
cross
really
network
cool.
on everything except for Sony platforms because for some reason Sony
hates
Sony's
having fun.
Sony's in first place.
Yeah,
That's what that's called. Then the big finale, Super Mario Odyssey, where they did this great fake out where they had like this giant dinosaur, and then he turns around and he's got a Mario hat on his head.
I thought
Cappy.
I literally
It's awesome.
thought that
Cappy,
was
yeah.
because this is Retro's new IP, a Turok type game.
Yeah.
That was pretty tight.
That, and
And
then
then-
there was a second of maybe Monster Hunter, and
Yep.
then
Worlds.
boom.
But yeah, that was a pretty. Mario Odyssey looks fantastic.
So good.
Yeah, like I can't wait for that game. We found out Mayor Pauline.
Yeah, that
She might be
I
a
love it.
singer as well.
Yeah.
New Donk City
They get
has
clo-
these weird ties to the Donkey Kong franchise that they're not talking about, but I can't wait to hear more about that
Where is-
nonsense. The game looks great. You can throw your hat and kind of like possess things.
Yes.
So, like they were showing like in the city landscape, you can like throw it at like different like street signs and kind of like fling yourself off of them. And then there's also stuff where you can throw them at enemies, and if an enemy is not wearing a hat, then you control that enemy. So you can control a Koopa, you can control a Goomba, a Bullet Bill. It just looks so great. You can control a dinosaur.
Yeah!
Or a frog.
I feel like there's so much potential in this mechanic that it's going to be so much fun when it finally comes out.
Like
And hopefully there's DLC with even more things I can throw my hat on.
I could see
Yeah.
a lot of like bullet bill puzzles flying. Oh god, it looks so good.
it's a kind of simple addition that just adds so much more to that 3D Mario concept, which we've seen done in a lot of different ways, and I feel like how those have always really succeeded well is that, you know, like let's think, I mean, for Sunshine, you add that water pack, and it adds a whole another way to do puzzles in that game. Although, you know, everybody kind of liked those really hard ones where you lost it, the water pack, but still, like, you know, Galaxy had its own twists where it had like the crazy new power-ups. Even Galaxy 2 where it had like this.
Yoshi.
I mean Yoshi added for that. I think that was where the spring power-up debuted. Mario series have always been really good at just having these really unique concepts and then just playing with them throughout it. And I want to live in New Donk City. I want to explore there. That game's coming out October 27th. It has its own line of amiibo as well. There's Wedding Bowser, Wedding Peach, Wedding Mario, and a Goomba and a Koopa.
Yep. I guess
Koopa
the
Troopa.
best men, I guess maybe. Tomato
Yeah.
maybe.
No, it was also a cool feature with Odyssey, of course. Is the 2D segments that you sort of pop into the wall and
Turn 8-bit.
does a little bit classic platforming
Yeah.
involved as well. And even cool where the bullet bills would, and once they hit the side wall, they actually pop out and then come into 3D, and then you can, they come at you and you can take over them. I thought that was pretty cool as well.
Definitely a lot of mechanics. There was one thing I was concerned about with Super Mario 3D World, which is the last game that they really worked on for Mario, was that it didn't really feel like they were trying to really play with the concept enough. It seemed like they were just trying to get the idea down and make the level design kind of play around that.
Mm-hmm.
This seems to be they're trying to go weirder with the level design, because now they have, rather than linear stages, the levels are fully open.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because they had you essentially have to power up your ship with enough of these moons, what they called moon pieces, moon crystals, or what have you.
Yeah, no more
Moon
stars.
coins, maybe?
Moon, yeah. I'm just wondering.
Just called moons.
Just moons. I'm just wondering if that means that it's kind of linear in the sense you go from one world to the next, or if it's like, oh no, you need that to unlock the bigger worlds that are out there. You just gotta go to your ship to go to those worlds. Either way, big worlds.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool if they drop you into one. You can get, 3, 5 moons, whatever, and then you could sort of, you've got 3 or 4 different worlds that you can go to, just sort of wherever you want, go at it,
One thing I noticed was that you don't start the level over again once you get a moon. You stay where you are. You grab the moon, keep going.
Yeah.
It's like Banjo-Kazooie, where you just grab from the Jiggy. And this time you grab the moon and you start from there. And they had this unique checkpoint system, it looked like, where if you grab a checkpoint in the middle of the environment, you die, you warp back to that checkpoint. So that way you always are moving around the checkpoints. That way you don't always start back at your ship.
And you only lose 10 coins, too.
And you only lose coins. You don't lose lives in this game. You lose coins. Is there anything else I know that was...
How many worlds do you guys think they're going to be in this game? Because definitely not going to be 40 like there were in the Super Mario Galaxy games.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard to say because there could be some larger ones, some smaller ones.
Very
I mean,
size.
I think it's too early
8
to
sounds
tell.
like a
We're
strong
gonna
number.
speculate at all on that.
I think 10. I think higher than 10 is being too optimistic. But they have been working on this game for a while, so it could go either way.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how big these worlds are. If they're going to be... Is New Donk City something that, you sort of go in, get your moons, and you're out? Or is that something maybe you have to consistently return to? Like I said, maybe certain areas are gated off by moons, and they want you to be bounced, so it's not just taking on one world at a time and moving on to the next. It'll be more... I'm a little here, then I'm a little there, and...
I think it's going to be like that more because they showed that costume interaction stuff.
Yeah.
I bet there's costumes you have to get in some
Yeah,
worlds
like
and
the
return
mariachi
back. Yeah, I
one.
bet there's some you have to get from certain locations and then go back to other locations with that costume and perhaps get a whole new area or a hidden area or whatever.
This game has shops.
It does seem like there's almost like maybe adventure game elements as well. Like you needed to get the mariachi costume to be able to play with the mariachi
And you had to
band.
use the local
Yeah.
currency.
There's different currencies in different worlds. They had the stuff where there was like a band that you needed to get together and go find them throughout it. So, I want to play this. I want to live in New Donk City. That's my only regret is that if I went to E3, I would be kind of living in New Donk City, and that sounds great.
Yeah, it does look... I really like the aesthetic of that mariachi town, Mexican-themed town, desert town, I don't know how you want to say it, but I love that aesthetic, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play around in there.
Based on the trailer, there was a lot of different kind of aesthetics.
In the first trailer, I don't know if you saw it too much in the new one, but I really wanted to see the Mario Land taking place with like all the Sphinx and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was the second world, though. That was the desert zone.
I do want to see a lot more of that.
The trailer
Hopefully Tatanga is back.
I would like if oh man, just there's so much stuff they could do with like all this weird Donkey Kong stuff.
Get a piece of looking that deep in that trailer, I saw a lot of bosses pop in and like in and out, in and out.
All right, so let's move on. So that was a spotlight.
Yeah.
We did get another announcement. We'll probably get some more as time goes on. There's a Metroid game coming to 3DS in September.
2 Metroids!
Yeah, Metroid Samus Returns. It's a... I can't tell. They kind of just said it was like a
reimagining.
Reimagining of Metroid 2. I don't know how much like a straight remake it is. There were definitely elements that were very familiar from what they showed in their gameplay demo of
The
it.
layout's completely different, and the gameplay mechanics are a bit different too.
But it's developed by Mercury Steam, who they did the Castlevania Lords of Shadows game, including a Metroidvania, a 2D Metroidvania on 3DS, Mirror of Fate, that seemed like the reception for that was largely negative.
Because I think what happened with that game specifically was they tried to take the Lords of Shadow mechanics of battling and put that in 2D rather than making a straight-up Castlevania game.
I will always stand by that a 2D Metroidvania that is too focused on combat is not what I want to play.
It didn't look like this one was. It was still
yeah, I mean, it looks like a 2D Metroid game. Like that's what this game looks like, and I'm very excited for that fact.
And they did, and it's good to see that they actually tried adding, and they showcased the new mechanics in their stream. They showed like the ability to like do a melee defense as enemies attack you. You can also other power-ups. These look like nice enhancements that don't like tread on the actual mechanics of Metro. And then there was that shield thing they were talking about earlier. They mentioned like this power you can turn on, give you more attack power or more defense, but it's finite. And once it runs out, you gotta find the source somewhere. And it's not like you can just find it by enemies. It's hard to come across.
Yeah, it's something you might save for that tough boss,
I'm very excited for the game, but I am a little worried about that melee attack. It looks like it may rely on it a bit much based on what we saw. And Metroid isn't really a melee type game.
Well,
so.
it's more for defense because it looks like they say you're going to attack a lot of enemies at once. So if you end up, fighting like 3 enemies at once, they're going to not wait to attack you. You're going to have to kind of get used to the concept of enemies not only coming at you, but also like coming from all directions. So you have to shoot, dodge, or reflect attacks. Kind of like how in Breath of the Wild, in a way, you kind of had to be aware that enemies were going to attack you all at once, regardless of what was going on.
And also there's aiming. We didn't talk about that. There's that.
Yeah,
There's free aiming.
That one I'm concerned about. Because they're used to always just go 45 degrees and level design play to that. This is going to try to play to that free aiming a lot more.
I'm also looking forward to the real spider ball coming back, where you can cling
Yes.
to any surface. I was really disappointed in the Prime games that they called that magnetic thing the spider ball, because it didn't function the same way at all. So
It looks like the spider ball in this actually has like claws that come out.
like
It actually, so that way it actually sticks to a wall and rolls up the wall, which makes sense given that what it does, as opposed to the spiral being magnetic. Because magnets only do magnets, how they work.
And it's we got a special edition for that,
Yeah.
which is going to be exciting
With
too.
a CD that has 25 songs from Metroid's past, I think that's what they were saying. And there's Amiibo, and there's Amiibo too.
Oh my
Two
God.
Amiibo, yeah, the cool looking Metroid Amiibo that's
The
a little
squishy
squishy,
Amiibo?
busting out of like the cage or whatever, and then the Samus in the Metroid 2 pose.
You know what's
There's
sad?
also baller artwork for this game too.
yeah,
I
if you
mean-
love Metroid 2, it really is paying homage to that. This is beautiful. I love Metroid 2. I think Metroid 2 is the first Metroid game I really fell in love with, which I know today a lot of people are like, ooh, Metroid 2, but I still think it's a pretty good Game Boy game, so I'm looking forward to playing this remake when it comes out
I
in
hope
September.
Yeah.
If there's any Metroid game
In
that
3 months, we'll be playing Metroid Samus Returns.
If there's any
Insane.
Metroid game that needed a remake, it was Metroid 2, and this is going to be the opportunity. Although it doesn't look like it's going to fully remake it in the sense that you still have to kill a certain Metroid to progress. It's still going to be a much different game, and hopefully improve a lot of the things that were making it way too unuser friendly.
Well,
Yeah.
Samus doesn't take up 3/4 of the
Screen.
screen, so there's that.
Maybe that's what the Amiibo will do.
Just blows up
Retro mode.
Samus.
We'll get an 8-bit Samus.
No, it'll just
Amiibo.
It'll be built in. The game. You'll
Yeah.
unlock the game.
I'm just curious why it wasn't in chibi style. Is all I'm asking.
Well, the limits of the system, and but yeah, that's the Nintendo Spotlight
So far.
and kind of the start of E3. I'm still waiting for their Shadow Drop game or DLC or whatever to be announced. I think we'll get that on Treehouse Live sometime soon. We still have the tournaments, Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Pokken. And there's a whole bunch of stuff they've already shown on Treehouse Live. They had some Mario and Rabbids, Fire Emblem Warriors, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is what's on right now as we record this. And there will be a whole bunch more. And you can also look forward to a lot of our own coverage at E3 as well. Our team is on the floor right now, punching out
God.
fools, trying to find space in the Nintendo booth door. While you guys were talking, I found out that, we got Johnny Metz and John Lindemann are online to play Mario Odyssey right now.
Yeah.
The massive line. It
So
looks like
maybe
a-
2.5 hours
Yeah,
from now.
They may
we'll
have
an
impressions for you by the end of
2.5 hours.
E3.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of video on the way, a lot of discussions, breaking down everything that we saw and everything that we will see throughout the week. So stay tuned to Nintendo World Report TV. We'll also have stuff on NintendoWorldReport.com. And you can support us on Patreon so we can keep on doing this weird fun stuff that we do for funsies. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/NWR. If we get like $100 or more, I think $500 a month, we'll take ads off the site.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We'd all like that, right?
Yeah.
So ads
me.
kind of suck, but trying to incentivize support. Yay, E3!
Woo! Metroid lives.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.